Ladies and gentlemen, today is not just another day. It is an invitation to rise, to build, to move, and to act. The world does not change because people dream about doing something. The world changes because people get up and go to work. Every one of us has been given a measure of potential, ideas, talents, visions, and opportunities. But potential alone is powerless until it is activated. A seed can sit on a shelf for 10 years and never grow, but the moment it touches the soil, something inside it wakes up. The same is true for you. The moment you decide to put your hands to the task, your gifts begin to grow. Work is not just a job. Work is effort, discipline, consistency, commitment. Work is showing up even when it's hard. Work is pushing forward even when the path is unclear. Work is choosing purpose over comfort and progress over excuses. Every great story of transformation has one thing in common. Somebody decided to work. You may not have the perfect plan. You may not feel fully prepared. You may be unsure of what comes next. That's all right. Start with what you do have. Start with what you do know. Start where you are. Movement creates momentum, and momentum creates change. So today, let us lift up our heads, strengthen our resolve, and set our focus. Let us silence the doubts, ignore the distractions, and push past the fear. The future belongs to the doors, not the dreamers alone. The doors you are waiting for will open when you take the steps toward them. You've got the strength, you've got the vision, you've got the ability. Now it's time to activate it. Potential becomes power only when it is activated through consistent effort. Many people live their entire lives surrounded by untapped potential, dreams they never pursue, gifts they never develop, and opportunities they never explore. Potential is like a seed. Inside it lies everything it needs to become something great. But unless it is planted, nurtured, and cared for, it will remain nothing more than a possibility. Possibility is beautiful, but it is not enough. Possibility alone cannot build a future, create change, or shape destiny. It is only when potential is put to work through deliberate action, consistent effort, and a willingness to grow that it transforms into something real, powerful, and productive. Every person carries within them unique abilities, ideas, strengths, and perspectives. Yet many wait for the perfect moment to begin, believing that success requires ideal conditions. They wait for more confidence, more resources, more support, or more clarity. But potential does not grow in perfection, it grows in motion. The act of showing up, trying, learning, and adjusting activates what lies dormant inside you. When you push yourself to step into the work, even if you're uncertain or unprepared, something shifts. You begin to learn what you're capable of. You begin to understand your strengths and weaknesses. You begin to build skills, resilience, and confidence that only come through experience. Action reveals ability, hesitation hides it. Consistency is the key that unlocks this transformation. One moment of effort is not enough. Real growth is not the result of a single burst of energy, but repeated steps taken over time. Just as muscles grow through consistent resistance, your inner potential expands when you repeatedly challenge yourself. Consistency creates discipline, and discipline becomes the structure that supports long-term success. It is easy to be motivated for a day, a week, or even a month. But the people who see their potential come to life are those who commit to showing up even when motivation fades. Consistency turns potential into progress, and progress, no matter how small, creates momentum. Effort is not only about physical actions, but also about mental commitment. The mind often tries to convince you that you are not ready or that your idea is too small, too big. Overcoming doubt is part of the work. Training your mind to believe in your purpose, to push through fear, and to stay focused is an essential part of activating your potential. You cannot produce externally what you have not cultivated internally. The effort you put into strengthening your mindset through discipline, reflection, planning, and perseverance forms the foundation for everything you decide to build. Potential also requires patience. Growth does not always happen quickly. Many talented people give up because they expect immediate results. They plant the seed but abandon it before it has a chance to grow roots. They want the harvest without enduring the process. But every significant accomplishment requires time. The process may feel slow, difficult, or uncertain, but progress is happening beneath the surface even when you cannot see it. Every day you show up, every time you practice, study, build, plan, or persist, you are watering your potential. You are strengthening the roots that will hold up the life you are trying to create. It's important to understand that potential becomes powerful when aligned with purpose. When you work not just for success, but for meaning, your effort takes on greater energy. Purpose fuels perseverance. When obstacles come, purpose keeps you from quitting. When fear rises, purpose reminds you why you started. When the path becomes unclear, purpose gives direction. Potential without purpose drifts. Potential with purpose drives. And when you combine purpose with consistent effort, you create a force strong enough to break through barriers and open doors you never imagined. Another essential element is willingness to learn, to adapt, to be uncomfortable, to fail, and to try again. Many people never see their potential because they fear making mistakes. They choose safety over growth. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. It teaches, refines, and shapes you. Every skill you admire in others was learned through repeated practice, mistakes, and adjustments. When you embrace the learning process, you give your potential space to evolve. Ultimately, potential remains powerless without effort. You can have the greatest idea, the strongest talent, or the biggest dream, but none of it matters unless you act. Effort is the bridge between what could be and what will be. Every great achievement in history, every invention, every breakthrough, every movement, every masterpiece was once just potential in someone's mind. What made it real was work. Someone decided to try. Someone decided to commit. Someone decided to show up. You hold the power to shape your life, but that power activates only when you engage it. When you put in the work, your potential transforms into ability. Your ability transforms into progress, and your progress transforms into impact. The seed becomes a tree. The idea becomes a plan. The plan becomes action, and the action becomes a legacy. Potential is the promise. Effort is the fulfillment. The moment you choose to work is the moment your life begins to shift. Potential is waiting. It's time to activate it. Progress begins not with perfection, but with taking the first step. This truth is often overlooked because many people believe that before they can start anything meaningful, whether it is a dream, a project, a calling, or a new direction, they must first have everything figured out. They imagine that greatness starts with a flawless plan, a flawless performance, or a flawless beginning. In reality, nothing could be farther from the truth. Every accomplishment, no matter how remarkable, starts with an imperfect step, a small move, or a simple decision made in uncertainty. Waiting for perfection becomes the greatest enemy of progress. because perfection is an illusion. It is a standard that no one ever truly reaches at the beginning of their journey. The first step does not require expertise, confidence, certainty, or applause. It requires courage, the courage to start what you have, even if it feels like not enough. When someone takes the first step, they break the barrier of inertia. Action, even in its smallest form, disrupts fear, hesitation, and overthinking. Once you move, you create motion, and once there is motion, momentum begins to build. That momentum opens doors, reveals solutions, and uncovers possibilities that would have remained invisible if you had stayed still. Many breakthroughs come only after you start, not before. The clarity people search for often arrives while walking, not while waiting. It is important to understand that progress is a process, not an event. No one becomes skilled, wise, or successful in a single moment. Growth unfolds step by step, layer by layer, experience by experience. When you take the first step, you allow yourself to learn. You discover what works and what does not. You refine your direction. You gather information that only action can provide. This is why starting small is powerful. Small steps are manageable, realistic, and achievable. They reduce the intimidation of the journey and give you a sense of accomplishment that keeps you moving forward. One small action done consistently is far more valuable than a perfect plan never executed. Another reason progress begins with a first step is that movement builds confidence. Confidence is not something you magically acquire before taking action. It grows through the process of trying, adjusting, and improving. Every action you take teaches your mind that you are capable. Every challenge you face and overcome strengthens your belief in yourself. Confidence is a product of experience, not a prerequisite for it. When you wait to feel confident before starting, you end up waiting indefinitely. But when you start, even with shaking hands or uncertain thoughts, you begin to build the internal strength that will sustain you throughout the journey. The fear of making mistakes often holds people back from taking that first step. Yet mistakes are not indicators of failure. They are stepping stones toward improvement. Every mistake provides feedback, insight, and direction. Success is shaped not by avoiding mistakes, but by learning from them. The people who accomplish great things are not the ones who began perfectly, but the ones who began imperfectly and refused to stop. They understood that errors are part of growth, not evidence of inadequacy. When you take the first step, you accept that mistakes may happen, and you give yourself permission to learn, evolve, and keep going. Another important aspect of taking the first step is that it sets the tone for discipline. Once you begin, you make a commitment, whether small or large, that moves you closer to your goals. Action creates accountability. When you start something, you mentally shift from thinking about possibilities to pursuing them. You enter the realm of responsibility, effort, and progress. This shift is essential for anyone who wants to move from dreaming to doing. Dreams without action remain fantasies. Action transforms them into achievable outcome. Taking the first step also teaches resilience. The path of progress is not smooth or predictable. There will be obstacles, slow seasons, unexpected difficulties, and moments of doubt. But stepping out sets in motion the growth of resilience. Each challenge you face strengthens you. Every difficulty becomes a lesson that prepares you for the next stage. Resilience does not develop in comfort. It develops in movement. And resilience is what carries you through the journey when the initial excitement fades. Furthermore, taking the first step often inspires others. People draw courage from seeing someone else begin. Your willingness to step out, even imperfectly, can ignite hope, motivation, and determination in those around you. You never know who is watching your journey, silently gathering strength from your example. This influence multiplies the impact of your decision to start. What begins as a personal step can become a source of inspiration for others, reminding them that they too can begin, grow, and progress. Ultimately, the power of the first step lies in its simplicity and significance. You do not need to be perfect to begin. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to have all the answers. You simply need to move. Progress is not defined by how grand the beginning is, but by the willingness to begin at all. Each step forward, no matter how small, moves you closer to your purpose. Each decision to act pushes you beyond stagnation and into possibility. The courage to start is the first victory, and from that victory, countless others can follow. The truth remains clear. Greatness begins with ordinary steps. Transformation begins with motion. Progress begins not with perfection, but with the simple, powerful act of taking that first step. Purpose-driven work creates momentum and opens doors to new opportunities. When you commit to working with intention, your actions carry a different weight, a deeper energy, and a clearer sense of direction. Purpose gives meaning to effort, and meaning fuels persistence. Many people work hard, but not everyone works with purpose. When effort is guided by intention, it becomes more than activity. It becomes progress. Purpose is what transforms ordinary work into impactful work. And when your work is aligned with something meaningful, it begins to attract opportunities that cannot be accessed through aimless activity alone. Purpose-driven work begins within. It starts with understanding why you are doing what you are doing. The reason behind your effort shapes how you show up, how you persevere, and how you handle obstacles. When your why is strong, your resilience grows stronger. Challenges that would normally stop you become stepping stones. Setbacks that might have discouraged you become lessons. Purpose anchors you so deeply that even when you feel tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain, you continue to move because what you are working toward is bigger than the discomfort of the moment. People who work purposefully don't rely on motivation alone. They rely on conviction. This inner conviction naturally fuels momentum. Momentum does not appear randomly. It is created by consistent effort moving in a clear direction. Purpose narrows your focus and eliminates distractions. When you know what matters most, you stop wasting time on what matters least. You begin to channel your energy into tasks that align with your goals and values. Over time, this consistent focus generates force. You start to see results, small at first, then larger. These results encourage you, strengthen you, and push you forward. Momentum builds confidence, and confidence builds more momentum. Soon, you find yourself moving faster and farther than you once believed possible. Purpose-driven work also sharpens creativity. When you care deeply about something, your mind naturally begins to search for ways to improve, innovate, and grow. You begin thinking more intentionally, exploring possibilities, and imagining solutions. Purpose awakens imagination. It pushes you to look beyond limitations and see the potential in what you are doing. This creativity often becomes the birthplace of new ideas, new methods, and new paths that would never have emerged without purpose. People whose work is fueled by passion and meaning tend to become more resourceful because they are invested in the outcome. In addition to creativity, purpose-driven work draws the attention of others. People notice passion. They notice effort that is fueled by meaning. They notice when someone is committed to excellence, not because they are forced to be, but because they believe in what they are doing. This type of commitment inspires trust, attracts partnerships, and opens the door to opportunities that may not have been available otherwise. Purpose-driven individuals often find themselves offered roles, responsibilities, connections, or chances that align with their mission, not because they sought recognition, but because their work made it impossible to ignore. Another powerful aspect of purpose-driven work is its ability to cultivate discipline. Purpose requires responsibility. It pushes you to stay consistent even when you feel uninspired. It encourages you to show up when others quit. It strengthens your character because it demands more than surface-level effort. Purpose-driven people learn to manage their time, guard their focus, and persevere through difficulty. This discipline becomes a lifelong asset, shaping not only their work, but their entire approach to life. Discipline built on purpose lasts longer than discipline built on pressure. Purpose-driven work also gives people the courage to take risks. When you believe in the value of what you are pursuing, fear loses much of its power. You become more willing to step out of your comfort zone, try new things, and embrace challenges because you understand that the outcome is worth the uncertainty. You are no longer working for simple survival or routine. You are working toward impact, legacy, and fulfillment. This perspective empowers you to make bold moves that can lead to significant breakthroughs. As momentum grows and opportunities begin to emerge, something else happens. You start to influence others. Purpose-driven work is contagious. It inspires people to find their own purpose, to work with more intention, and to pursue their goals with determination. Your effort becomes an example. Your progress becomes encouragement. Your journey becomes evidence that purposeful work leads somewhere meaningful. Even without trying, you become a source of guidance and hope to others who are looking for direction. Purpose-driven work also leads to a sense of fulfillment that cannot be achieved through success alone. Achievements without purpose feel empty, but achievements built on passion and meaning feel rewarding. When your work reflects your values and aligns with your identity, the satisfaction you experience goes beyond material gain. It gives you peace, joy, and a sense of contribution. You begin to feel part of something bigger than yourself. This fulfillment keeps you grounded and grateful even as you continue to push forward. Ultimately, purpose-driven work transforms not only what you achieve, but who you become. It develops resilience, strength, adaptability, and wisdom. It shapes your character, your habits, your mindset, and your future. It builds momentum that carries you through challenges and creates pathways you never expected. Purpose connects your effort to meaning, your meaning to motivation, and your motivation to action. And that action, steady, consistent, and intentional, opens doors that talent alone cannot unlock. When you work with purpose, you move with power. You attract opportunities, influence others, and experience growth that extends far beyond the task at hand. Purpose-driven work is not just about getting things done. It is about becoming someone capable of creating impact. It is about stepping into your calling with clarity, passion, and determination. And when you do that, momentum becomes your companion and opportunity becomes your reward.